Hello and welcome to Crossing the Line, a podcast about pushing the boundaries about daily opinions and seeing how far people can take a joke. I am Z.
And I am D, and our episode for today is hobbies.
Um,
So I heard you guys ask some questions in the last
yes,
podcast.
yes. Those questions were, what is a hobby that you would consider rare that no one else does? And the second question was, what is something that others would consider a hobby when it's really not a hobby? Now, of course, we're going to go over our hobbies first, and stuff like that if you would like, or however we want to take this episode, and then we will continue on from there. We'll lead into the questions. However, we'll play it by ear like we always do. That's the one thing I like about this podcast now is it's not planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it so much easier.
All right. So I'll let you start off because the last episode I talked way too much. So I'll let you start off as
Wow,
to
shocker.
let you start off.
Another episode where Z takes up all the airtime.
I'm sorry. Couldn't
I don't
help it.
know. Okay, because like there's a hobby I have, but I feel like other people do it, so I don't know how rare it is.
All right.
I
Well,
mean, I do poetry.
okay,
I
so
like
you
to
write
write.
poetry.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Oh, hey, at some point, I want to make a poetry book and make money off of it.
There is a website you can actually post your poetry on where publishers will find you and they can like ask to have put your poem in a book or two and get you like royalty and stuff like that. I actually know
I
some people
didn't.
from high school that have done that where their poems have made it into books.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the site because obviously, I mean, I've written poetry back when I was younger, but I mean, not like much. I mean, the last poem I ever wrote was called The House of Poe, and that was for like something in high school. And the teacher and like some of the class were crying because it was basically about a guy that died, So, yeah.
You wrote that?
Yeah. I
Wow.
wrote a poem
You have
called
to
The
bring
House
it
of
back.
Poe.
We'll have to do a poetry episode, and
I
you
would
can
have to
just
find that paper. I don't know where the hell that is.
probably tucked away.
I find it from time to time. Like I will go through boxes like and like move shit. And like one time I found it in my end table in my living room. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like how the hell did this get here? And then like I'm going through my nightstand in my bedroom one day and it's sitting in my nightstand. I'm like, I don't remember putting this here. And it's like,
It's
what
coming
the
back
fuck?
to haunt you.
I mean, it is the House of Poe. I mean, if you know Edgar Allan Poe, he does have a lot of poems about people like haunting and shit. So,
Very
so
well
yeah.
could be. Do you have any? Do you have any? I don't know if I have any more, but do you have any that you would consider like, I guess, rare?
A rare hobby I used to have. I haven't done it like anymore, but a hobby I used to have was collecting rocks, painting them, smoothing them, making them like shiny and pretty and shit, and then like put them in people's garden for free. Like I would just walk by and just like drop and walk away. Like I had a rock tumbler when I was a kid, and I would take rocks I would find, and I would like paint them up, or whatever. Before I paint them off, I'd put them in the tumbler so they're smooth and shiny. Then I would paint on them and color them and like, make them look whatever. And then I would put them in like people's little like rock gardens and stone areas. And yeah.
I don't know if I have any other. I don't know. I feel like I live a boring life at the moment. Maybe if I was younger, if I can remember.
Oh,
My mind's just blanking on everything I did as a kid at the moment.
I get you. I mean, one of the hobbies I do now that I still do now, I'll admit is I'm a huge like Funko Pop collector.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know. I like my Funkos.
Here we go.
Yeah, I like collecting them. I try to find those rare limited edition ones. I mean, I have a weirdly designed Doctor Doom one that like the cardboard, the eyes are supposed to be like angry, like they were like look like they were supposed to be like like those angry like you put the little like V over the eyes to make it look like they're pissed off eyes. Well, instead the Funko was designed to not have those kind of eyes, but the cardboard was. And that Funko, last I heard, goes for a couple $100. Another Funko I have that I got that was rare, um, it's extremely rare, is a signed Stan Lee one. Stan Lee is the creator of Marvel Comics. He did pass away not too long ago. I don't remember exactly what year he did pass or when he did pass, but I mean, I have a signed Stan Lee Funko, and it's sad that he's gone, and I'll never give that thing up to save my life. I have a limited edition rare Black Light Carnage Funko Pop that they only made so many, and now last I checked, it was going for $500. I have a signed original Power Ranger, the Red Ranger, like Jason, the guy that played Jason. I have a signed Red Ranger Funko. I have a signed Gabriel Iglesias Funko. You know, like I like collecting rare limited edition Funko Pops. And I mean, granted, I checked, I definitely have. Oh my God, I don't know how many Funkos I have. Last I checked, I'm sitting well over 1,000, or it was way more than that. I think I'm almost at two.
Addiction.
I think
You
I'm
have
almost
an
at like
addiction.
2,000. No, addiction will be doing drugs.
You hoard. That it could be used in multiple situations. You are addicted to Funko Pop. Especially says the one who's gonna buy 1,000 of the same one time.
Shut up, I was drunk.
Still, don't blame the alcohol.
Okay, what's a hobby you do? What's just another hobby you do?
Um,
Take the attention off of me.
probably a and your Funko addiction.
Fuck off.
Definitely reading. I've always been hit or miss though with reading. It depends.
Now, is that really a hobby, or is that just like a leisure?
No, it's a hobby. If when I was really reading, it was a hobby. I just like also collecting books. I have way too many books at the moment and have like 10 in my Amazon cart.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, I would consider it a hobby. Like if I'm genuinely doing it, not as a leisure thing, I'd consider it a hobby. Recently though, I've just been doing it here and there when I have free time. But I'm definitely hopefully gonna get back on that here after a couple weeks.
Okay, okay, okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Trying to think. See, like now, do you like no when you do your reading, do you do it like in strives or do you just keep it going?
Like, do you mean just like how long it takes me to read the book?
No, no, no. So like say for example, like also you just get the mood to where I want to sit down and read. And you just sit there and you'll just like read book after book after book after book after book after book. You know, like, or do you read for say like a month, then you stop for a few months, then you go back and read again, then you stop again and read again and stop again.
I mean, see, this is also hard. When I am, if I'm focused on other things, I definitely can tell you it'll just be hit or miss. But like, especially if I can get on a good series and I have the free time, I'll literally read that book in a day and start the next one the next day. Like I can get really involved in reading.
Okay.
But like I said, it depends right now with how like with having to study for other things. Like I just all I've been reading is test questions. So I mean, unless you
Okay.
count that as reading, but when I read, I definitely can go like I can read every single day for quite a big chunk of the day.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that is really good to know, though. It's like, yeah. Um, sorry, I'm like
Finding out new things about
try
everyone.
try not to like sneeze, cough into the mic too much. But I was to say no. But back then, I was like, well, I thought the hobbies. Like, that's good to know. Like, it's like you'll see you if you get to the mood set, you could just go. But then, like you said, there's times where you just take a break. Correct. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'll be kind of the same way, not to like nerd myself out, but like when it comes to like say manga or comic books,
I knew you were gonna say comic books.
like I'll get to that point. But see, the thing is, like I usually go to comic book stores like on free comic book day, and it just happens to be if I'm in that area for that time. Like I won't go out of my way to go to a comic book store, But it's just like, okay, hey, yeah, free comics, fuck, sweet, all right, let's take them, and then like I'll put them in my little bin that I have and store it in my room, and then it's like if I get really bored, I'll get ready to go to bed, and I'm like, oh, and I really don't want to read anything on my phone. I know I have some books I can read, but I don't want to read them, so I'll pull out a comic and just lay there, read it for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, bored, put it aside and go to sleep.
Were you like a graphic novel person?
Uh, I mean, somewhat maybe.
Not even like the Marvel ones? That
It's,
surprises me.
I mean, I know my knowledge on them, and I've read Marvel comics. I've read a lot, but the only downside, like, and it's kind of similar with like mangas, but like the one downside with like doing stuff like this is a lot of the times there's gonna be variations, and to where it's like, you say you're going down the path of Spider-Man versus Venom, or whatever, in like that comic book series. But then all of a sudden they're just going to randomly pull out a new Spider-Man side story series that's not even related to the story series that you're already going down. And then it's going to jump into another series and another series and another series and another series, to where it's going to get to the point to where it's going to be so many different series, you're not going to know. And you can't keep up because now that one story led to multiple other comic series that lead to the story, along with the same amount of comic books that have not leading to the story at all, but they come off the series somehow, some way. So it's like, okay, you can have 1,000 Spider-Man comic books, but they're not on that main story anymore. It's
Yeah.
just it's an annoyance, but it is what it is. So,
Hmm.
but yeah. Um, I will say, I said with that, yeah, I mean, yeah, with that. But otherwise, manga's a lot easier to keep up with, and that's like one thing I'll stick with and hang around and use, like, and read a lot of, because that I like. But yeah,
Interesting.
not to sneeze.
I think another one of mine would have to probably be cooking. I'm
Okay.
a big person, like I will try new recipes. I'll even like see a recipe and kind of like make it my own. Like I'll put my own twist to it.
Hmm.
Because I know there's been multiple times like I've made stuff, even just recently, where either my family members or like one of my parents will mention someone to someone else and they're like, oh, they want the recipe. And I'm like, what recipe? I kind of just wung that. I don't know what they want. A pinch of that, a little bit, just add to your like. But definitely, if I find like a recipe that sounds interesting and I don't know, I'll maybe like add stuff, take stuff away, kind of just like
You test
put
it out.
different. What?
It sounds like you test it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
to some degree. There are times where like I will follow the recipe just because I don't know, it's been a good recipe. I mean, my Alfredo recipe, everyone loves it. Just humble brag right there.
Is that how to
Definitely
know?
had to make like double the pots of stuff at college because everyone would want a bowl.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't
I just
know.
think cooking overall is kind of just something I don't know, just I mean it's something you can do for like fun, but it's just something too like if you really like look at I just like enjoy looking at the recipes and kind of like figuring out what I want to do, what I can make, kind of how I can put my own little twist to things.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you got to test the waters. Try to see where I want to jump off of that. Otherwise, we're gonna get stuck in this kind of thing, or stuck into one hobby at a time. One hobby I know I enjoy to a point is gaming. I like gaming. Um, it kind of borderlines on how what's something you would say is like what's a hobby you would consider, but it's not really a hobby much anymore, because like I may not make my millions from it, but I do make a good amount from gaming. Whether I'm making content on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, this podcast, TikTok, stuff like that. Like, I enjoy doing these things, like making games and start playing games, but then it can lead to making content, which technically is not really a hobby anymore because now it's being monetized, and you're getting financial growth from it. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that issue. I just have hobbies. If I could find a hobby that would pay me, man, that'd be great.
You probably can. I mean,
I
we
mean,
all.
yeah.
I mean, we still have to fit. We still have to set up our feed finder.
Oh my God, I still gotta do that. Crap. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. That is what I'll be doing Sunday night,
It's
right
like,
before midnight. Oh
what?
crap, I gotta do this.
Why isn't D at work anymore? She made 1 million on feed finder.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuck, I better get a percentage on that.
Sorry, Q, not coming in for the rest of the year.
That'd be just more of like I quit. I mean, if I made 1 million on feed finder, I would quit my job.
I want to know what is the average pay. Sorry, this is gonna go off on a totally different rant again,
All
but I just want to
right,
know what is the
Google, here we
average
go.
pay. Someone needs to Google that. What is the
Average
average
pay
pay you get?
for feet finder for feet pics, $5 to $20+ a picture.
Dang. It's not well. It sounds like a lot, but that means you need like people actually wanting to go look at the photos.
Holy Christ! It can go from $100 to $5,000 a month minimum.
Oh my God, sign me up now.
It can go from anywhere. Oh, that just changed. Okay, on LinkedIn as of August thirty
On
first.
LinkedIn?
Oh my God! How much do feet models make? Anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a week.
Oh my God,
I want it.
signing up as we
You
speak.
know, it's like, like I mentioned, like, like I applied for a position for doing gaming stuff because like that's stuff I like to do, and hopefully I get onto it because it's from EA, like the company Electronic Arts. They made EA Sports and stuff like that or whatever it is, and it's like I'm hoping I get it because if I get it, sweet, that's gonna be a benefit to me, a bonus to me. So we'll see, we'll find out, but it's say if you can make a career out of selling feed pics, I go for it. That's all I'm gonna say to you is go for it. You make a career, yeah. You
It'll
just
be my side hustle.
that's a side hustle. How much you make on your
Everyone
side hustle? Couple mil.
more than I do at my actual job.
It's like yeah, that just pays the bills. Like you have a side hustle that pays the bills. How what the fuck are your bills?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'd be so concerned if you said your bills are that much.
Oh my God. Speaking of feet photos, not like in a weird way, but I like doing kind of going on back to hobbies. I like doing photography, not of feet though. Do not take that the wrong way.
Okay, so it's kind of off of feed pics. So, okay, I'm sorry. This is going to be very bad. I'm very sorry, but we know we're going to get laughs from this. So, you say you like taking photos and it's like something off of feed pics. Please pray to God it's not nudes.
Oh my God.
We're going to go on a site and we're going to see a bunch of D sit there. And then someone's going to be like, wait a minute, that's at work. Wait a minute, that's my chair I sit on every day. Oh, there's gonna be management at work sitting there going like, I sit in that chair for lunch. Oh,
Get your mind out of the gutter.
now,
God.
but now, how in depth do you get into this hobby? Like, do you actually like have like a expensive camera with lenses and stuff like that, or
I mean, I don't know. It's not like the most expensive, but it's not like a cheap one either. Like it's definitely like a maybe like a $700 camera.
okay, wow, okay,
And then I think I got two lenses for it. I want at some point expand, but lenses cost like thousands of dollars depending on the one you want.
well, yeah, I mean, depending what you're going for, the brand, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
spend an arm and a leg, whether people are gonna say yeah or no to it.
Like
It's
I know mine's a Canon photo. And I do more right now of like sports photography, so I'll do a lot of like the photos at my brother's basketball games.
okay.
But that's I do want to like take it out and just like take photos of nature.
Okay.
But then I actually have to get outside.
Yeah. Well, that's a
And
dilemma right
working our
there.
shift, you don't get outside a whole lot, let me tell you.
No, you really don't. No. I mean, you can always take night photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could always do something like that.
I think with that though, you have to have some sort of I don't know if it's special lens, or I don't know. I know like I've heard people because like people do photography of like the stars, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not
But I
wrong.
don't know.
You're not wrong.
I just think I don't know. I just think photography's just always been something like it just helps you see the beauty in things. Like I'm especially like one of those people like in the if it's early in the morning, even like after work and like the sunrise, depending on what season it is in Wisconsin and equinox, time change, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Depending on when we get out of work, sometimes like the sun rise will be coming out and I'm definitely one of those people that I will stop on the road and take a photo if I find a great spot.
Hmm.
But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, definitely another one of my hobbies.
All right. All right. It's not bad. It's not bad. Now, back to like we were talking about too as well for like hobbies, like back to like another question for because like I really don't have that many much other hobbies besides, I mean, I guess being like a huge Marvel fan. The only really other hobby I really could say I could consider, but it's not really a hobby. It would be again back to the content creating because like I love making content. I love streaming. I love gaming. I love doing this stuff. I love drawing and doing like graphic art for some people. Like I'm getting back into that. I'm starting to make commissions off of that from time to time. And developing servers, mods, plugins, stuff like that. And so that really I wouldn't really consider a hobby. I mean, I would consider it, but to a point though, it's like knowing that you're making monetary value off of it. Like that's really
Mhm.
not a hobby this much anymore then to a
Yeah.
point. That's more now of that's a mini job or a career. It's
Hmm.
not paying the bills, but it's a
You're still
job.
getting paid.
Yeah. So like do you have anything like that you do that like any career slash hobbyish things that you do that does something like that?
Man, we've been over this.
No, you just
But
don't. Except your feet pics.
whatever. I will say, kind of taking this in a different route, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, by all means.
There are definitely a lot of hobbies out there that like I'm very interested in. I don't know if you ever heard of pickleball.
That sounds familiar.
It is a hot commodity, let me tell you. It is
Okay.
like this new thing. Like there are championships for this, I'm pretty sure. Like you can go and play on TV. Like it's become that big of a thing. And I
Hmm.
think it just started off as like like some leisurely thing you go do every now and then, but it's become a huge, huge thing.
Hmm.
Like there's even like nude pickleball now. And I'm like, first
Oh,
off, who the
okay.
heck would want to do
Okay,
that?
now you know why you want to play pickleball.
Oh my god.
At first we're talking about feet pics and nude pics, and now there's nude pickleball. I'm so sorry.
You would not ever see me on a court without clothing. But it's just definitely one of those things that like it's definitely a very hot commodity of a hobby right now. Like a
Okay.
lot of people are picking it up and doing it. And it just always seems so fun. Like you know what I mean? It's just always nice to have like those hobbies that are just I mean, usually hobbies are supposed to be fun.
Yes, I mean they would be. It's like I mean like some people like paintballing, some people like, surfing, stuff like that, rock climbing, like those are hobbies.
Mhm.
Like those are fun hobbies, and stuff. It's like some people like going to the range and that or whatever. Some people like riding horseback, some people like I don't know, I can't think of anything else. But like playing music, to a point, it's like, as long as
Yeah.
you're not getting any type of like monetary value off of it, then, again, that's technically wouldn't be as long as you're getting, as long as you're not, then yeah, you technically would be a hobby. But it's
Mhm.
like, some hobbies can lead, but not all hobbies. If you do this hobby for money, then you're probably really not making that a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can really argue a lot. Like I said, I make content again. I'll go back to that for like the 100th time. I make content with video games and stuff like that. But yeah, I get some monetary value. But the thing is, that's not my purpose for this hobby. Like, I like to game because one, it gets me out of reality. It gets me to like where I'm in my quote unquote happy place, if you want to call it, make it easier for some to understand.
Mhm.
It's just a change of pace. It's something to do. It's something to get your mind off things, something to
Oh
relax.
yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I'll be bluntly honest, like, there's these simulation games called like lawn mowing simulator or lawnmower simulator, power wash simulator, farming simulator, stuff like that. They're literally called these games. And as of lately, me and a group of people that make content together, some of us make content, whether they're in my stream or in other people's streams, we've been playing Farming Simulator. Now, this game takes hours to play. It's not like you jump into a quick Call of Duty match where, pew pew and done, whatever. No, this game
Yeah.
takes hours. We're harvesting grass, just
Oh yeah.
grass in this game. And it's taking hours to harvest grass in a video game. We've played Construction Simulator. We've played Power Wash Simulator. Someone has said to us, why don't you go do the real thing? And they go, because that means we have to go outside. There's Lawn Mowing Simulator. Why don't you go cut your grass? That means I have to go outside. I'm going to get
Oh
dirty.
man.
Well, I can sit on my
Poorly.
ass in my pajama shorts and a t-shirt, have a beer and chips, and I won't get stung by a bee or step on a branch or have I don't know, something else fucking piss me off. It's like I said, these are just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no clue where I was going with that.
Do you have anything that you would like want to pick up as like a hobby?
I want to pick up paintballing. Like I really do. I think it'd be a blast.
I think it sounds so fun, but all I can remember is my senior year in high school where our whole graduating class had the opportunity to go paintballing. And when was the paintballing? Right before graduation. The amount of kids that came to graduation with welts, like the size, they were so huge. I'm like, man, that looked like it hurt. And they're like, it did. And I'm like, I
Well,
don't
yeah, it's
know.
gonna hurt.
I think I could be really good at paintball, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, that might, that's gonna put a dinger here and there.
I would love to pick up bowling again. I used to do bowling. I was in the high school bowling team. Um, we never did any like finals or any like competitions and that stuff. But I would like to pick up bowling again. I just recently got rid of my bowling ball and bag and all that stuff.
Well,
But
how the heck are you supposed to pick it up if you got rid of all your stuff?
well, I haven't touched it in years. This is back
Mm.
like I was in high school when I played like when I did bowling. So like that bowling ball won't fit my fingers anymore. The shoes don't fit anymore. My ball was a green, black, and white like smudged like tie dyed that was meant for cosmic bowling at the Ashwaubenon bowling lanes. Um, so it was cool because my ball would like react to the black lights. And
Yeah.
but like I said, yeah, all that stuff. I mean, that stuff doesn't fit anymore. I would have to go get a new bowling ball, get new shoes, get a new bag, get a new rag, all this other crap and everything, and blah 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 blah. And just yeah, like I said, I would like to pick it up, but the thing is though too, I don't want to go alone. Because another big thing about hobbies, I mean, that could be wrong for some, but like for me, I prefer doing hobbies with other people. Like I don't want to go bowling at a bowling lane all by myself and then be like, yeah, high five, I got a strike. You turn around and then you have some stranger just looking at you, picking their nose, going, shit, buddy. It's like, no, peace off. Get away, Joe, get on, get. Get fucked. But
Oh my gosh.
like I said, it's like it all varies when it comes down to it. And that's just me in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
I think one that I think I would definitely, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because I think it'd be cool to like start a blog
okay.
of kind of like, I don't know, if I would do like maybe like some daily, I don't know, mantras, some of the cooking recipes. So then if people ask me like, just go to this thing. But I think it just would be so cool. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you either are good at blogs or you're just like absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. A blog isn't really going to be too hard to do. I
Yeah.
mean, to a point, because a blog is just what you've created. A blog is something you like. That's all that really is at that point is just a blog.
Mhm.
It's just your writing, your happiness, your excitement. Like that's really all it is.
Yeah.
It's not like
But yeah, that's
if people judge it, they
definitely
just read something else.
true. That's definitely just something that just be, I don't know, I think it'd be fun to do. I feel like there's just so many hobbies out there that like, I don't know, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, you really can't.
like anything you do, like you just do out of the sense of like for your own like mental health and stress and just like to connect with people. And like that's just what a hobby is meant to do in general.
You're not wrong. It's like I said, like, when it comes down to some hobbies I like to do, it's like, I don't want to do them alone. It's
Yeah.
just who I am. I hate doing certain things alone. There's some things where, I would love to do things alone, but then it's just when it comes down to it, there's just a lot where I'm like, meh, you know, I'm bored. There's no one else doing this. What the deuce? And then, yeah. Like I said, yeah, I
One thing
mean,
I wish I could pick up. I don't get how people do it, is running. Like I wish I could just go out and just run. Like you know what I mean? Like just
hmm,
in there's just no. Mm-mm. That is one that I think like I can do here and there, but it is not. It will not never be a hobby. Like I
okay,
give applause for those who have that as their hobby.
okay.
But that's
Yeah.
definitely one. Like
But see, but would
me,
that really be a hobby to a point? Because I mean,
I
that's
mean, to some,
exercise. They're benefiting basically themselves.
I think to some degree, yeah, because they can running like people can do out of the necessity of like a stress reliever, like their health and like their own like mental health. Like it's something that I think you could consider.
Okay. Okay.
Or like even if you join like a running group,
Hmm.
I would consider that. I would consider it a hobby.
Okay.
Will I partake in this hobby? Most likely not.
Oh, well, why not?
You try running like 3 miles, man.
Hey, when we were off of work for a while, I was going for like about a 5 to 10 mile walk every day. You
I
know,
like walking. I do enjoy that.
that's what I was doing, like a 5 10 mile walk, and
Okay, now
then,
next time just run it and then tell me.
well, actually, I started jogging it before we started coming back. I built up, and it's
Yeah.
like, there could be a time where eventually, I could start getting to a run or like a fast jog, a heavy
Mhm.
jog. It's going to take time, but I could
Mhm.
potentially do it.
I will say what's I have started to pick up and enjoy and I want to do more of is like the 5Ks. Like the 5K run, like run walk, where it's not like you don't have to run the whole thing if you don't want to, and you don't have to
Hmm.
walk. Like you can go at your own pace.
Okay.
And like those I find I don't know. I did the what was it, the hot cider one? Hustle just here in Green Bay for fall. And it's just like I don't know. It's just something that I could definitely maybe see me doing more of.
Okay.
I don't know if you consider it a hobby, but
I mean, that technically can be a hobby because you're doing that stuff. Like I said, there's the definition of hobby is so, like, if we were to follow like Webster's dictionary like definition, that's one thing, but it's like there's a lot of stuff like for hobbyists that's just so broad. It's so
oh god.
open. There's no real full definition or anything like that for someone to be considered as a hobby because everyone's gonna have their own input as to what exactly a hobby is, and that's again perfectly fine because one, it's your choices. You do as you pick. You have your own opinions. And two, if it's something that gives you joy, yeah, I mean, if you're going to sit there and say, oh, I like to kidnap people and strangle them, that's
Oh
not a
my
hobby. That's
that's a
murder.
problem.
That's a
Maybe
problem. I mean, if you're into role play with that, hey, props to
oh
you there, champ, but damn no.
gonna end up in jail on that one.
More than jail.
A
But
life sentence there.
yeah. Like I said, it's all gonna vary when it comes down to it at the end of the day. And
Oh gosh, yeah.
it is what it is. Again, like I said, it's interesting to see how like a definition of a hobby can be, how it can turn around, what it looks like, what it could do, what it can do, what people
And
will
how
be
other
willing to
people
do.
interpret it. Because like not everyone's gonna interpret it the same way. Which is
Exactly.
just it's interesting. And it's also interesting just to like even talk to other people about their hobbies. Cause I don't know. I feel like that's something that you don't normally necessarily do in like the start of a even just like a friendship or a relationship. Be like, oh, what's your hobby? Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I feel like it used to be like that, but now it's kind of like, for some of the people, some of my friends, I could not tell you some of their hobbies. Like, if I'm being all honest.
To be honest, the same. I mean, there's some people I know like they like to paint. They like to just binge watch movies, I guess, is really as a hobby. At least they consider it a hobby. Um, Me personally, like when it comes down to a hobby, it's like again, it's all varies, and like I said, the definition of it is so heavily changed. You know,
Oh yeah.
now we all know now if we were gonna go to more of the inappropriate, funny side, like there's people that like have comedian as a hobby. They like making jokes. Granted, though, too, it's really not a hobby anymore because it became a career. There are porn stars. Again, that could have been a hobby at some point, but then it
True.
turned into a career. And it's like, there's a wide, very wide definition of this. And it's just more of, well, is it a hobby or not?
Yeah.
And yeah, I said it all varies at the end of the day. So
But yeah, there's definitely you could just go on and on with this. Like there's thousands of hobbies out there. Like I could literally just say journaling or writing or
yeah,
I don't know, taking notes.
yeah. Again, you're not wrong.
As long as like you enjoy it. I mean that's the biggest thing with
Again,
hobby.
agree. Yeah, agreed. I agree to that. If you enjoy it, you got it. If you don't enjoy it, well, then why are you doing it? That's
Yeah.
technically not a hobby anymore. That's just more now of a, working style type of deal.
I will say one of the things I never understood. This is a random trail thought again.
Mm.
Since you brought up the if you don't enjoy. I never understood in high school. It was so funny because you'd have all these like cross country runners, and everyone you talk to, you're like, I hate it so much. And it's like, then why are you doing it? If you don't like doing it, then why are you doing it? And they're like, well, I'm doing it because I get fed, like I get the food. And I'm like, then don't complain about it if like you're doing it for that. Like you have a choice. Like you don't have to do it.
Yeah, at that point, if you're just doing it for food, then why don't you go work at like some other place or something else
Yeah.
for the food? It's like I'm pretty sure it's like doing that will just end up being more of a problem than anything else. So, but I mean, again, that's just me. It's like you could just turn that. There's just so many ways you could turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I definitely had a friend who like every week it almost seemed like maybe every week or like every month was on to some sort of new hobby. And it's just like, I mean, props to you of picking new things up, but it's just like, man, like it almost you're like, okay, now what hobby are you doing? Or now
yeah.
what are you getting onto?
And but
But
that's not horrible though because it's like
no.
they're trying to find that click. It can
Mm-hmm.
suck if they're constantly like if they're spending a lot of money into doing these clicks, then there's a problem. But it's like okay, now it's like not really a hobby more. It's just okay, you're just trying to keep yourself entertained, and I'm sure there's something out there that would definitely keep you entertained.
Mm-hmm.
May not be how you want it to be, but
So here's my thing. If we're kind of bringing something else into this whole hobby discussion,
mhm.
what do you think is like the most appropriate amount of money to spend on a hobby?
Ugh. I would say something that's not going to kill your budget.
Okay.
I've known people that have literally have gone, like full on like bankrupt because like they have like literally just destroyed their living situation and everything like that because of a hobby. And it's like that sucks to see, and it's horrible to
Yeah.
see because it's like, how could you take a hobby that far to where now it's like it's ruined your life? Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't do that." It's like, no, no, no. If you can afford it, then you're fine. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna sit there and put yourself in debt, then you're technically not fine, and you
Okay.
really might need to rethink of what you're doing and possibly do something else. That's just my take on it.
Like I know someone who I don't know if they really took up like anime.
That's not really a
And
hobby. That's just more of like an
well,
interest, I would say.
I mean I guess, yeah. But like going to Comic-Con conventions, I don't know if
That
you can
that could
consider.
that could be a hobby because I mean that's basically saying
Yeah.
like you're going to a baseball game, football game,
Yeah.
track, swim meets, paintball. Yeah.
But yeah, and they were only like allowed to spend so much money because like if you're like you can only like you budget so much for certain things.
Right.
So like they were given like a set amount of like, oh, this is what you can spend. And this person ended up spending like 8 times that amount,
Oh
like ended up
Christ.
spending over $800 at
Jesus.
this like convention on stuff. And it's just like that's what just I don't understand. It's like if you know this is like what you have to spend, like how do you just like go and like blow that money?
See,
I
but
mean, I guess there are people out there that do it because
like I mean, I can vouch to a point. Like when I went to this past convention and that recently, I went to or North Colossal Con, in the Dells. I had a budget of say $200. I think I spent 1,000. And that's, that was
oh
like for
my
food and like, like I bought some art, like I'm a huge fan of Godzilla. This guy that was there was an artist there that had Godzilla and kaiju art and that stuff. And it's like buy two, get one free. They were $20 a piece. I'm like, all right, so I'm spending $40, and it's like, all right, cool. Went and got food. There's another $50 right there. So that's $100, just shy of 100 right there without tips and tax or whatever it is and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it's like, okay, gas to get down there. We picked up food along the way. We picked up food heading home. Like I said, there's so like, it's like, kind of what like actually we spoke in like the last episode about New Year's resolutions and stuff like New Year, New Me. Like one of my New Year's resolution is I want to be more extroverted. I want to be more social. Again, I don't at the same time because one, everything's so fucking expensive, and it's like just like
yeah.
I said, like I had my goal set for like 200 to spend there at the time, and I spent 1,000, and it's like what the hell. I mean, the rooms were not cheap. They were definitely not cheap. I mean, granted, having 5 of us in the room, it brought the price down from being $1,800 to 300 some dollars per person, and it's like, okay, cool, we'll take that.
Was
But
that per a night or just per?
the whole night was 300 some dollars for the whole visit.
Did you guys
Otherwise,
just stay one night?
no, we stayed 3 nights.
Oh yeah, so that's almost $1,000 right there.
Well, not no, we didn't pay 300 a night. It was $1,800 for the whole weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's like when I went alone. When I went alone one year, like I mean, I got my own room. I went with other people, but I had my own room. That room cost me almost $900. It was like 800 and some change, just for my own room. And it's like, okay, 1,000 more for 4 more people. Okay, yep, the math breaks down to 300 a person, but it's like, yeah. But the thing is though too, and it's like, and if they're listening, like I don't mean anything bad on this if they're listening. Like, as much as I enjoyed sharing a room, that's not how I like. I would have preferred to be on my own because that's just me. I like to be on my own. I like doing stuff with other people, but like when I'm going to bed or if I'm going to be like tucking in for the night, relaxing, watching movies, TV, whatever, I weirdly like to be alone. And it's just how I am, and it's blah, blah, whatever. But anyways, that stuff's expensive to do, doing all that, like going to these cons. It is expensive. And it's especially if you're
For
into
sure.
cosplaying and you're making your like costume or your cosplay outfit, that's a whole nother bundle of joy right there you're going to spend on if you're making it. If you're paying someone to make it, you can add a good couple $100 on there to pay that person to make it, plus the cost of materials and everything and their time and effort and blah, 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 blah. Like I said, there's just so much that you can put into it. So I don't blame them for spending that amount of money. It's this stuff's just expensive in general. And again, like I said, it leads back to where that's why I'm more of an introvert. Everything's expensive. And also going kind of back, I just remembered a question. I'll remember to answer to part of the question. Like I want to pick up paintballing. I actually want to pick up drumming. I've been talking to S and I started setting a budget aside. I have been looking into it. I told him what my first budget was and he goes, okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a good starting. And I'm like, oh, starting. And he's like, yeah, I saw the website. Like a high end one is like 10 grand starting. And I'm just like, oh, shit.
Oh gosh.
So it's like, I would love to get into it. I just got to either one, win the lottery, two, someone's got to be willingly, graciously donate that all to me, or there's a massive sale of 99.99% off. and then we're fine.
That is the one thing. It's nice to find hobbies that like don't cost a super ton.
Mhm.
Especially like nowadays, like getting into certain hobbies, you could end up in like the rabbit hole of like debt
Oh
and
God, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
wasting money just because I
Oh
that's
God,
just
yeah.
like how it is nowadays. Like even just going out with a friend, not even like on a doing hobbies. Like that's alone like expensive. So definitely some hobbies for sure in these times, like I could see you spending a pretty penny
Oh yeah. Well, it's
to
like,
at least like start up and do.
oh yeah, well, it was like back in the gaming, like when I was younger and I was gaming, like video games cost like, 50, $60. Sometimes they would come out day of release at like, $40, $30, whatever it is, and like, okay, cool, you got what you got. Well, now gaming, the games are coming out at 70 minimum. And
Um,
like that's my hobby. I like the game. I consider that a hobby, even though granted, yeah, I do make some monetary value off of it. I just like to game. But like I was saying, the systems these days, a PS5, Xbox Series X, starting $500. Unless you get it on sale, you're not paying anything less than that. You're not going to find it cheaper
mhm.
unless it's used. Um, Gaming PCs, if you want a decent PC, minimum $1,000. Yeah, you can get a good one somewhat for 500 to 800, but that's not going to be able to handle almost every game that's out there now because of how the graphics and how all the designing and stuff and everything putting in there. Like there is a lot behind this stuff. And it's like, I went to college for all this and that and everything. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, learning the product, learning all of it. But it's like $70 a game. Hell, there was a rumor, and everyone knows Grand Theft Auto. Everyone's heard of the game Grand Theft Auto. If you haven't, then you're living under a rock because Grand Theft Auto, even Grand Theft Auto 5 was in the news.
What is this game?
Fuck off. Grand Theft Auto 5 was in the news on how bad it was. Not as in like content or like bad as in like how bad of a game to play, as in content. Like this game got banned in the whole continent of Australia. Like if you got a copy of GTA 5, you got it either online or somehow, some way. But like last I heard when it first released, it was banned in Australia because of
Mm.
sexualness or sexual imagery and visuals, nudity, drug usage, slang, like racist slang. The list is just on and on and on. Blood, gore, violence. The game almost hit that mark of being a rated A game, and a rated A is for adults only. That's basically at this point you're watching a porno as to that point. But it's like like there's rated R movies, there's rated XXX movies because you know what that movie is. But there are games, I think Manhunt was one of the very first games ever to be rated A. And then when it got a reboot, it was dropped down. They got rid of a scene or two to make it rated M. And it's like, like that's just how it is. So,
Yeah.
like I said, there's just some of these hobbies, they are expensive. Like I was saying about the GTA, the developers for GTA 6, the same company that made GTA 5, they don't want their game to cost $60, $70, even $100. They're saying that these people should pay by the hour to play their games. And it's like,
Oh
if
my
it's getting to the
God.
point to where we have to pay an hourly wage to play these games, fuck that. Like, fuck that. I would
It's
never
just
touch a game
so
again.
it's getting so like unbelievably like outrageous kind of and what how much they're charging on things. Like especially that like if they did were to go to that, like that's just insane.
Well, people could say drinking's a hobby. Well, that shit's expensive.
Mhm. I know I just went out, what was it tonight? And like drinks are not cheap.
No, they're not. They're really
I
not.
think the cheapest one you might find is like 6 for like a seltzer, maybe like a not a local like uh brewery type of beer. But other than that, like your specialty drinks, mixed drinks, easily $12
Yep. I was
for
just
a
gonna
drink.
just say in the last episode I mentioned how like you can get a shot. You're paying $10 for that shot. Where
Mhm.
if you pay
That's
$20, you can buy the bottle, and you will. You can have 40 shots out of that. Shit, sell that bottle for buy the bottle, sell each shot for even $8. a pop. Ta-da!
That is actually smart. I didn't even think about that. Like, you could do so much drinking. What? But that's see, this is also the thing. They get you because, like, yeah, you can do this hobby, but drinking is also a hobby that, like, some people, like you said, like to do with other people.
Hmm.
So you're not like it's hard just to grab the bottle and drink it at home by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you could invite people over and do something like great, but
But then that's at that
sometimes
point where, oh, sorry, go ahead.
sometimes it's that aspect of like you want to go out and do it. You don't want to just like sit at
Yep.
home.
Yep. Because one, you're at a bar, you're having fun.
Hmm.
Um, it's stuff like that or whatever it is. But then it's at the same time though too. It's like you don't have to deal with any cleanup, any messes, any issues. Like if someone has to stay, stay the night. Like don't get me wrong. Like if I had people over, like if my house was ready and that stuff, and I had people over to drink, oh, like by all means. Like, say if for some reason you were over and you were drinking and I know you were too shit faced, I would more than welcomely let you stay the night. Be like, hey, you can't drive, you can't go anywhere and that stuff. Give me your keys. You're going to stay here because I'm not going to let you drink and drive. But it's
You wouldn't
like,
even have to know. I would tell you, dude, I cannot.
right. Well, even still, it's like, even if it just looked like it, because I have friends that have done drinking and driving. And unfortunately, there have been some that have not made it home. There have been some that have been pulled over. There have been some that just passed out in their car in my driveway. And it's like, I've tried to stop them. We've tried. Unfortunately, it just didn't make it. But like I said, it is what it is. It's like, so, I can understand going out because one, you don't have to take that responsibility. But two, it's so expensive where it's
Oh
cheaper
God.
at home. If you tell everyone, all right, guys, you can each bring bring as much booze as you like. You're responsible for it. If other people are going to drink it, we're going to put some money in a pot. Hey, how much booze you bring? You brought how many kegs? Holy shit. Well, all right. Here's $50 to put in so I can drink from the kegs. All right. Everyone put in $50. They paid for the kegs. Like if everyone chipped in, like, see, that could be another thing too, is like say, for example, we say, hey, we're going to have a drinking night. Everyone's going to be staying here for the night. I know that for a fact. We're going to get drunk and totally shit faced. Everyone, here's your keys. Give me your keys. I'm going to put a key tag tag, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Details later. You're all staying the night. Guaranteed. You're all staying the night. All right, cool. Now, everyone bring as much booze as you possibly can. Spend as much as you want. All right. Now, everyone that spent all that money that brought the booze, if you're going to drink from this person's booze, here's the minimum amount you got to pay to drink from their booze. And it's like, oh, okay. It's like, everyone puts money into a pot and then, you divide it and see who got their money back. Because, I mean, who knows? People probably would make their money back. It's like,
Hmm.
I would rather pay, instead of paying $10 for a shot, I would happily pay $8 for a shot, knowing one, it's from one of my friends. Two, it's probably not watered down, because I guarantee these bars water this shit down. We know they do. It may not be a
Well, that's why
lot.
they put so much freaking ice in your drinks these
Well, that too,
days.
yeah, because that's less alcohol I have to put in there. But it's like,
Hmm.
they water that shit down to a point. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not a lot to notice, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's a very expensive hobby.
we went way off topic.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it
We're
happens.
used to it by
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. But it's like I
But
said, that could be an expensive hobby. That is an expensive hobby. But it's like still, even at the end of the day, you know, all these hobbies are
mm,
just more of, what can you do with others? What do you enjoy and blah 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 blah. And like I said,
what like helps relieve stress?
yep,
What's something that helps you like de-stress, relax, like
it's
if you come from home
legal.
from work, yeah, definitely don't want to be hiding a body bag in the back. Not a good hobby.
Yes.
Definitely illegal.
Like,
But
yeah, make it legal. Yeah.
yeah. It's just insane to me though sometimes just to like think about how much people spend on certain hobbies.
Yeah. It's
Well, like you said with the gaming, like I know I have a PS4 and then I think my brother
nerd.
shut up. My brother has already gone through like a 360 X cuz he's an Xbox person.
Hmm.
Like he has the Xbox One now and he wants like the new version and it's just like you look at the cost of it and you're like it's just not cheap.
No, like I said, the new systems now they're like $500 minimum. And they were rare to get when they first came out. Like the Xbox Series X and the PS5, they were rare because those companies, yes, they were hit from COVID, but they didn't get a lot stuff. Like they just supposedly they weren't getting the amount or whatever it is. I can't remember the exact definition or term, but like they weren't getting enough of the product to make fast enough to sell. So they were getting to the point where they were cheaping out on internal items and making it to where people were going to get like a system at cheaper or same price but with cheaper quality product on the inside. And it's like people were scalping for thousands, like for hundreds, even no, not hundreds of dollars, but for like a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's like it sucks that people were doing that. I almost fell for a scalp, or not fell, it was more of like I was gonna get desperate enough to buy a PS5. Like I wanted a PS5 and I was willing to spend $750 instead of 500. I was willing to spend $750 for a PS5. And it's like, yeah, no.
Well, and it was funny because so what was it? When I originally went to go get my PS4, the guy's like looking at me because I'm like, this was me before I really took up video games. Like I'd play with my brother, like on the Wii, his Xbox, like I'd play them, but like I generally didn't know like, okay, what's the difference between a PS4 and what's the difference between an Xbox? Like what's the best one?
Mm-hmm.
And so the biggest thing he's like, well, what are you using it for? And I'm like, kind of to watch movies and game occasionally. And he just looked at me like I was nuts. And I'm like, it's just,
See,
I
no,
mean,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
it's not like for you, like, and other people, like, yes, it's a hobby. For me, it was more of, well, it's nice. It's something I can watch like DVDs on. And it's also something that I can game on if I want to or if I choose
Mm-hmm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you will definitely have to find these like consoles at like great prices because sometimes it can be
Now, see, the thing what it sounds like not to cut like too much into it real quick, but like before I lose my train of thought on it. So when that guy said that to you, the reason is because, and not to be sexist, is because you are a girl.
yeah.
It's like, yes, there are gamer girls out there. Cool, awesome, sweet, really cool. But like he did, like there's some gamers out there that just don't take it as like, oh, a girl wants to play a video game system. What are you going to use it for? And it's like, so you said like to watch movies and game a little bit. In his mind, he's like, oh, great. She's just one of them. Now, if you would have said, oh, I'm going to play Call of Duty and do hardcore, blah, 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 this and that, and this, that, and this and that, become a full gamer girl, it's like, or a full on gamer, then he probably would have tried to upsell you to like a PS4 Pro and all his other crap. But it's like, yeah, like I said, unfortunately, you got stereotypically put as one of a girl that just thinks she knows what gaming is.
I definitely well, I went the PS4 route just because like my brother, like again, he has the Xbox, so it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things like we can always trade off if we need to.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one of those things when it's like if that thing ever breaks, man, I don't know, I'm gonna have to go pay for another one.
I mean, at this point, you mean you probably would be better to get a PS5. Even though yes, they're expensive, but here's the downside of having the older systems: those servers are slowly shutting down.
Oh gosh,
Like they're
yeah.
slowly shutting them down. Like the Nintendo Wii, I don't think you can use Netflix or anything more on it anymore. Like you're not allowed to. It doesn't work. If you do, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, but last I've heard or last I've seen anything about it, they disabled those servers because they don't want to keep those companies don't want to keep pushing for the Wii. Now all their info now is on the Wii or Nintendo Switch, and it's like okay, they made a handheld console that can be a gaming console slash handheld, which to us, some of us gamers, that's an amazing feat. To some other people, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it is what it is when it comes down to a point. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
no,
just like again, like the money side to it, it's beyond me at this point. It's just like, oh good lord.
you're not
I think
wrong.
there's definitely things like you can do. Like don't get me wrong, there's definitely things you can do that like you don't have to spend a whole lot of monetary value on it. But there are like other like hobbies, like I said for photography. is like you're gonna have to pay for a decent camera, depending
Yep.
on the photography you really like are interested in.
Yep. The
Or
lighting,
like
all that stuff.
especially like even if you want more so one that also like records too, like if you wanted to be then become like a blogger or like a YouTuber or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like that's even like more money you're gonna have to put down. And it's just like I remember like I was in the camera store, I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. Like,
Yep. Well, again, though, too, like making content, like going off of that, like, making content, like my webcam broke. It's my computer's not picking it up anymore. And I'm like, all right, I could buy another, webcam. And I'm like, but it doesn't have that great quality. And it's like, I want that high end quality. I'm thinking about getting a Sony, I think it's like DSLR, I think it's called. Those start at $1,800. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if I want the stuff, like if I want the kit and everything that's going to work for like computer where I could stream, it's going to start at $1,800. It's like, what the
yeah.
fuck? So yeah, again, if you can get a hobby that doesn't break the bank, perfect. If it's breaking your bank and making it to where you're going into financial debt, you probably should stop with that hobby. I know it's a fun hobby, but you probably should stop at that point.
Well, that's even like skiing. How skiing can be a very expensive hobby.
Yes. Yes.
And it's interesting because who was I just talking to this about? I was talking to someone about it because we were talking about how like where I went to college, a lot of people like were very financially wealthy. So like a lot of their stuff in the dorm room, if they didn't want to take it home with
Oh, you're
them,
starting to robot out. Oh,
oh,
you're starting to cut out. Hopefully you fixed
okay,
it.
now it should be
Yeah, there you
good.
go. Okay, there you go.
My connectivity is doing weird things at the moment. I don't know why. My Wi-Fi is everything else is great.
Well, I
But
mean, we are in this episode for an hour and a minute. So, I mean, if you want.
hey, let me finish my train of
Okay.
thought.
Sorry, ma'am.
Gosh, stop interrupting. I'm just kidding. But
With that being said, I hope you all have a great night.
honey, but because we were talking about how like at my college, like the parents, a lot of the kids, their parents were like financially wealthy, so their parents could just buy them new things every year. So they would just put a bunch of their stuff by the garbage, and a lot of the stuff would be brand new. So like, as much as people might want to judge me, me and some of my other roommates would definitely not like go dumpster diving, like dive in the actual dumpsters, but definitely take like
You're
things
junk picking.
that were around the dumpster. Like we found a like brand new almost mini fridge, like a microwave, like two great chairs, like an ottoman, a rug, like so many things that people were just getting rid of. And it's just like one of those things of with skiing, I forgot who I was talking to it about, but they were also because I brought up this point and they were also saying like there are people who like take up skiing as a hobby and like with the money they have, they'll literally go to these places, fly in, buy the skis there, like expensive skis, and because they just like can't take them back with them, will leave them like at the side of the resort for people to take if they want.
Wow.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, like I just that's also another mind-blowing thing of like hobbies to me. Like people that have just that much money that can just like snap a finger, drop their money like that.
See, now there's two ways for that. Like, and this is my mindset on this. And then, like, I think we'll probably try to wrap this up because, like, we're getting way off topic. Um, uh, those are the type of people, those are two types of people. One is they are definitely financially stable with themselves. They're able to take care of themselves. They budgeted well. They have a high paying job. They're good in life. They're set. They're good to go. Option two, they're those rich, spoiled, bratty, stupid kids that had their parents be able to pay everything for them because they wanted to wear a sweatshirt or hoodie or whatever it's called, a sweat hood or sweatshirt or whatever it is, one tied around their waist and then have the other one tied around their neck for their shoulders to keep their neck warm. I said, those are the spoiled, rotten kids. Huh?
Has to have the brand name Gucci or Louis
Yep.
Vuitton or
Yep. They don't have the word juicy written on their ass and their gray sweatpants, wink, wink. They have it written and fucking embroidered in diamonds, and shit like that. And
the
it's
real
like
one.
the real diamonds. Like that pants right there, that would not only feed your family for 50 years, but that will let you buy 20 houses and a fucking island in Hawaii. Like that's how fucking expensive those pants are. And there are some people that I do know where they were born into a rich family and they have decided that, like, they have literally questioned, like, why don't you just spend the money? It's like, motherfucker, I got bills. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't just drop fucking this amount of money on something that I'm never going to use. I said, why the hell would I do that? Yep, when it comes to gaming, I'll admit I'm the type of person where I'll say, hey, we're gaming tonight. Sweet. Buy this new
Drop
game. I know it's
$100.
$70 to buy this game now, but we'll play it. Play it once.
Takes off for work just to get a video game.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's my gaming. That's my hobby. It makes me have
Yeah.
fun. And it's like, I'm not broke. I'm not breaking the bank buying that game. There are some people out there, though, that definitely are.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing with hobbies you have to watch out for is like you need to find one that is financially great for you.
Yes.
But like just because someone else takes it up and you think it's fun, please do your research and make sure it is the right hobby for you. Because like you said, as much as it can be fun, like if it's like financially draining, you need to find a different hobby.
Yep, I agree.
Not trying to be rude.
No, you're not wrong. That's the thing. Like, you're not wrong. Like, if this hobby
No.
physically drains your wallet and your physicalness, like your physicality, whatever the fuck the word is, big words. Like if it drains you, that's not the hobby for you. And if you did a hobby because a friend of yours or someone you know pressured you into it, that's still not a hobby for you. That was
Yeah.
just you willing to join someone, and that person doesn't want to do it alone. Yep, perfectly fine to try the hobbies out and see how they go. But, until you find that one hobby. But the thing is, don't do 1,000 hobby jumps. Like, that's just, like I said, you're going to break the wallet. Like, you're going to break the bank. And you're going to break your own spirit because eventually, after you've tried 100 different, like, hobbies, you're going to sit there and go, well, now I'm bored. I've tried everything. I can't find anything. You're going to get upset. And it's just going to down the drain from there. That's how I take it. But anyways, we are at an hour and 6 minutes. So if we like, we can either continue or we can end. It's up to you. I'll let you pick that decision.
I get it. You just want to end it.
I'm just saying it's a long episode. We can do, like I said, there's so much more we can do on hobbies. Like, there is so much more.
I could bullshit my way through.
Oh, God, yeah.
And speaking of bullshitting, I will wrap this up by saying our next episode, we will be doing a BS episode. Hopefully trying to get a decent group together. Just gonna, pull it out of our asses, talk about shit that we come up with on the fly. Kind of just a overall, I don't know how else to put it.
Like I said, yeah, it's basically be a BS episode. It's our season finale. And like, so we're hoping to get a good handful of people to come and join us. And like, so we'll probably end up doing an announcement or two on there. We'll be going over possible feedback and stuff, whatever it is, and go back to how our first episode was, talk about that maybe a little bit. We'll figure it out. Like I said, we're going to play this all completely by ear. But like I said, we will figure this all out. But without further ado,
be hearing the random ramblings of D of what I think on a daily basis.
she's like, popcorn, gray sweatpants, kink.
Did you know about this? Oh, did you hear about this? Did you know
Did
that
you
this
know?
actually does that?
Oh, God. See, the sad thing is I believe you would say something like that.
I know.
Like, did you know? It's like, oh, God.
All this episode's gonna be is me being like, "Did you know this? Like, I just learned this like a month ago."
It's like,
Did you
yeah,
know it?
I know how to open up a bottle of peanut butter. Like, did you not know how to open up a tub of peanut butter? Like, what the fuck? But without further ado, as we always say, if you are still here, I gotta find to make sure I know word for word. If you are still here,
you are strong enough to deal with your feelings.
Have a great night, everybody, or great day. Hearing this episode again, happy belated New Year.
You had a great holidays.
Yep, had you great holidays, all that stuff, and thank you for listening.
All the joys. Bye.
Bye bye.